When we talk about the ghettos in America, we usually think of the violence, the inhumane living conditions, the projects. And I mean that literally, but most of all we think about the killings. Normally through gun violence. But today I'm bringing you guys a SirLurk original. Today we are going to talk about the unexplained happenings in the urban areas, or as we like to call them, the hoods, in America. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, as I present to you. What is a generational curse? According to the Gospel Coalition, a generational curse describes the cumulative effect on a person of things that their ancestors did, believed, or practiced in the past, and a consequence of ancestors' actions, beliefs, and sins being passed down. A lot of people believe that the plight of the ghetto is just symptoms from generational curses made by our ancestors years ago. And everyone does nothing but ensure that the curse gets passed right on down to the next generation. But anyway, let's get into some strange but true stories. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Bumblebee 52 years ago, my son was the same when he was young. When I used to change him on the mat in the living room, I would have my back to the stairs, he would be looking over my shoulder and smiling as if someone was there. Every time, I would move my head into his line of vision and he would move the other way to see around me. I can still feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. When he was about 4 years I was sat on the sofa in the dining room with him and his baby brother. If you looked to the right you could see through the door into the living room. He turned to me and said, "Who's that man standing there?" As soon as he finished speaking the phone rang. I answered. It was just static. So many stories like that as he was growing up. He's 19 now and I've not asked him for a while, but he used to say he always had a feeling someone was stood just behind him. It scared him. Booney Blair 2 years ago when my son was a baby we had a sound monitor next to his crib and my wife was downstairs and heard a voice on the other end of the monitor saying, "What are you doing, cutie?" "Huh? What are you doing?" She said. It sounded playful, like how people talk to babies or pets. She ran up to his room thinking someone was in the house and he was just laying there awake looking around. When he got a little older and could walk and talk some, he was laying on the living room floor playing with blocks. Something down the hall caught his attention and he got up and stared down the hall. I asked him what was wrong because he kept looking at me all concerned and then looking back down the hall. He ran over, climbed in my lap, and pointed to the hallway and said, "Monkey." I think, maybe he was seeing some kind of shadowy apparition and monkey was the only word he knew to describe what he saw. That house always creeped us out, even before he was born. We always had that weird feeling like someone was watching us. And one time I got slapped on my foot while laying in bed. He would grin and clap at the end of every song. So that night, I don't know where it came from, but I got an urge to play the ukulele outside. I hadn't played in months at that point. I went inside, grabbed my ukulele, and sat back down in my rocking chair and began to play and sing quietly. I felt kind of stupid until the other rocking chair began to rock ever so slowly, and my chair was not moving at that point. It rocked for a bit then stopped, but I kept playing. I strummed for a while and when I was done I sat there in silence for a few minutes, said goodbye to whatever was in the chair, and went inside. I'm still skeptical of this situation. I don't know if the rocking was complete coincidence, or if something really was sitting next to me that night. I've sat in that rocking chair dozens of times since then but the other one has not moved on its own. My brain says it was nothing. But my gut tells me that it was my grandpa listening to me one last time before our final goodbye. I miss that man, and every time I pick up my ukulele I think of him in that night. Most kids are just naturally tuned into the right frequency to see a little more than us adults. Is it the innocence? Maybe no one knows. Most people ignore it until those curses become obvious. Teach your kids the right way and the right things while they are young. Don't find satisfaction in giving them the things you never got as a kid. Teach them the things as kids. What took you becoming an adult to learn? Peace and blessings to you all. Make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep it coming. On my mama, I'm getting better daily. Lurk out.